Today, I'm going to teach you how to do impressed line drawing. Alright, let me define what impressed line drawing is. Impressed line drawing is a technique where you create an impression in the paper using a pointed object or any blunt object such as a pencil, a stylus, or a toothpick, or any kind, or maybe you can use chopstick, and as long as it's pointed and blunt, but it's not really that sharp enough to rip off the paper. And then you shade the color over the top of the impressed line. So I'm going to show you that, but before that, this is the one this is the subject that I'm going to make today. You notice that in this subject here, I'm going to emphasize impressing lines of the veins of the leaves. You see the veins there, here and there. So this is my reference photo, and some parts of the flowers, as you notice, there are a little bit of smaller detail in terms of, you know, the veins that you see there. So I'm going to impress that. So that's my reference photo, and this is the drawing. This is the contour of that picture. I think most of you are familiar with this. Maybe you might have encountered this kind of experience already. You notice that when you were drawing in your sketchbook or drawing books, when you were like in primary or middle school, when you go over to the next page, you'll see that there are a lot of impressions in there from the previous drawings that you did. It's because you never noticed that you've been pressing the pencil in your previous work. And in the next page, when you draw something there, oh my gosh, I see a lot of impressions in there. It's like unwanted lines that you don't need for your drawing. And that's very common for students. So what you're going to do is you place a cardboard. This one is a hard board that I'm using. So I'm going to put it under, so that the next page will never be impressed, okay? Now place your drawing, your subject that you're going to do over your paper, and then tape it using a masking tape. Masking tape is important because when you tear it off, it's so easy to tear off, and it doesn't really leave a mark on your work, okay? So I'm placing this over my drawing paper. The purpose of masking tape is to retain your paper so it doesn't move when you're drawing. Once you tape the side, now you're ready for drawing. I'm going to use a blunt used pen to draw impressions of the veins. So I'm going to start on the leaf here on the left and then finish it off here. Right? So this is how it's done. So look carefully. I'm going to create impression on this vein right here. So all I have to do is just draw that, impress it, press it harder, so you create a mark underneath. Just be careful when you're using pen, because that's gonna bleed on your paper sometimes. Be careful. I'm going to draw the rest of the veins. Make sure that I impress that very well. There we go. Impressing is very important for some drawings because sometimes we don't need to draw that white colored pencil over it. You can't do that. So impressing is a technique where most artists use to leave an impression, a white negative space onto their drawing so they don't have to color it, and it's just naturally white if the paper is white, or if the paper is kind of gray, or any, or just maybe you can do it with animals too, if the animal has such as the horse or any other subject you want. And now the second leaf. You may draw it twice if you want to, but I did it one time. So I'm going to draw the outline, or the contour. Outline is also the other word for contour. The contour of the leaf. So I want all of these drawn. I want to emphasize on the leaf and the outline of the flower. So you may also not use this printed drawing or outline. You can just draw directly if you want to. And I'm showing this so it's easy for you to look at how impression is done. So basically, hydrangea flower has a lot of details. You notice that. So I'm going to start in the center, and this is the part where the lines are impressed, and the outline too. This is a lot, so you notice that there's a lot of petals in this flower, and this is where the impression is gonna be. Later on, I'm going to do the same subject when we do watercolor. There's a lot of details in this flower. When you look at it, I think you saw this kind of flower before. In my country, we call this million flower because it has a lot of petals. It's like uncountable, so it's called million flowers. So what I'm working on, I'm drawing the rest of the petals. I hope you can see that. I'm tracing those details of the impressions. Also, we can use this technique for whiskers. Usually, the artist that I'm going to show you, she used this technique on drawing the horses, especially the wispy hair of the horses, the eyelashes. So, and she doesn't have to color it, she just leave it negative space. We'll turn this paper later on and let's see how impressions are made in there. This is a lot. It's time consuming, but the results are great when it's done. So let me just continue finishing this. Okay, I'm done tracing the outline or the contour of the flower. I would like to show you what's underneath now. So I'm going to reveal the impression to you. I need to remove this tape first. Slowly. So you notice masking tape doesn't really harm most of your paper. So I'm going to remove that. So what leaves here is the impression. Can you see that? That's the leaf impression. And the rest is the impression of the petals. So the next stage is I'm going to rub the colored pencil on the leaves first.